Hey, this is a Hakawati production. Hey, welcome to the podcast. I'm really excited about today's show. First of all, because our guest is Samer Khouzami, a makeup artist turned entrepreneur who now has his own makeup brand, which is now being sold at Sephora, no less. And I happen to like talking about makeup, of course, but also because the beauty industry, as a business, if you think about it, is really fascinating. It's one of the few industries that just keeps growing and growing, no matter what's happening economically and technologically. Everyone keeps buying makeup, beauty products, and the product itself just doesn't really change. But how do you go from being a makeup artist to overseeing a successful brand and product line? You're about to find out. Please welcome our guest, Samer Khouzami. Welcome to the Men's Room, Samer.
Thank you. I'm super happy to be here, super excited.
Great. So tell me a little bit about your journey as a makeup artist. You started in 2011.
Yes.
How did you get started?
Well, actually, it happened earlier than 2011 when I started my career. I wouldn't say actually it was my career, but when I started my first job when I was still in high school as in a very small beauty salon where my family is. And at that time, the main focus for me was to try to save money as much as I can to go to the university and to save for my major. And I wanted to major graphic design in the Lebanese university. So I started working in that very small beauty salon, and then I went actually for my major. And in the first year of graphic design at the Lebanese university, I ran out of money again, ran out of cash because apparently graphic design is a very expensive major, especially for someone who's not financially able to support his material, because they ask for a lot of stuff like cardboards and coloring tools, and all these stuff were extremely expensive for me. So I had to quit my university and decided to go work as a full-time job and then save as much money as possible to continue my major. And at that beauty salon, they offered a job for a makeup artist. So I wanted to try to see if I can work in this. And I felt that graphic design and makeup are really related in one way or another. So I started working my first, basically, makeup job in that salon. And I never went back to university.
Yeah, you figured out pretty quickly that you'd make more money doing makeup than buying pencils and learning how to to get a job eventually.
It happened. I didn't plan it, because every year I say, you know what, I'm going to save a little bit more and go and start the next year. And here I am,
so
15 years later, and still didn't go back.
So, but fast forward a little bit. So you had a job in a small salon. Then you said you moved on. We were talking earlier. You moved on to a little bit of a bigger salon.
Yes.
And soon enough, you were buying shares in the salon, right?
Yeah, because now, exactly, fast forward, a lot of things happened throughout the years. I worked with a lot of beauty salons in Beirut, like for experience, for bringing more database into my clientele, and all these things that I think are key to build your career. And then I started, I actually bought some assets from shareholders in one of the beauty salons here in Beirut. And after a while, the makeup basically boomed in a way, and I wanted to expand a little bit more. So every now and then I bought a little bit of their shares, and until I owned the 100%.
What do you mean? So then it became your salon?
Yeah, it became mine.
But what do you mean makeup boomed?
Because I think with the back then, with the Instagram still being very new, and it did have a different kind of management to what's happening now in Instagram, being viral was more accessible. And I kind of started this social media when it was
What year are we talking about?
2014,
okay.
I think. I'm not
so it was the very
really
beginning of Instagram.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of space, and that's when you got in, because you have 2 million followers now.
Yeah, and everyone,
which is crazy.
And and if you would see the history of the following, you would see that it decreased in terms of increasing the amount of followers, because again, the whole thing in Instagram, other than it's now too crowded of
Definitely.
everything, also the system of Instagram and how you see the posts and how you interact with followers became like really very minimal. So
How was it better before?
it was way better before.
Like what was it about the posts that was more engaging?
It
for
was more
example?
engaging because it's not as what's happening now. So now you might be following me, but you might not even have access to all of my posts. So it's filtering your posts depending on the accounts that you interact with. So
In my feed, you mean?
exactly.
So it used to be that if you followed someone, you see everything
You
they
see
post.
everything. Now the feed is on an algorithm process system that you will see only what you interact with.
Right.
Even in the stories, which will basically, and one of the major things also that will make you not increase your followers way much
Yeah.
is you're not going to go viral anymore, even if you post a new post and you're having good interaction. In the past, if you have a really high interaction on a new post, you would go to the explore section on Instagram where all the accounts
Are featured. Yeah.
are featured.
Is this what happened? Is this how you grew?
You don't have this option anymore in
Yeah.
Instagram. So your explore is customized on what you interact with, not what is trending worldwide. So
Right.
yeah, this is one of the main reasons of my followers. And the other thing, I don't want to discredit my work in any way. I also
Because
was
your
like-
work is amazing. Also,
yeah, and
of
all
course.
the things that I really wanted to emphasize on my social media and to be more educative and try to help makeup artists out there to see how things are being done. Thing that we see now a lot happening. And then after that, Anastasia was one of the major turning points because we collaborated in year 2015. And this was also one of
Who's Anastasia?
Anastasia Beverly Hills, Anastasia Store, the owner of Anastasia Beverly Hills. So we collaborated on a masterclass that we did together in LA.
Okay.
And
She was already famous back then. For those who don't know, she's like the queen of eyebrows.
Eyebrows,
and she
yes.
became very famous around those years.
Exactly.
One of the more successful makeup artists who kind of, right?
And yeah,
exploded,
and she does
really.
now. She is the CEO and the founder of Anastasia Beverly Hills. If you might relate to
Yes,
that,
definitely.
So that was also one of the most important turning points, I would say, in my career.
Because you kind of joined forces with her, and then you benefited from her following and her.
Exactly,
Right.
and she does have a continuous support, I would say, for me throughout the
You
years.
still work with her?
We're still very close friends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's nice.
yeah.
Do you think that if you were starting out today, you'd be able to achieve what you have in terms of social media?
You want me to be honest?
Yes,
or
of
to
course.
be diplomatic?
We're always honest in the men's room. Never diplomatic.
It's extremely hard.
Yeah.
Extremely hard.
Why?
There's like two sides of the story, if I would say. For me, I believe that if you focus on what you want and how you want to achieve things, if you have a vision, if you have a plan, and you see your goal and just head straight to it, you would reach anything. Now, the facilitation is a little bit more harder because now let's start by social media and then we move into the other part. Social media is extremely crowded.
Yes.
Not only on a makeup level, on all levels, in all sectors.
Industries, definitely.
It's extremely overpopulated with content, if I might say. And I think people are starting to be more bored and lost interest in just what's happening now on social media, and the whole thing of not being very authentic also and true to what you are basically.
Yeah, you don't know what's real and what's not anymore.
Exactly. And on the other hand of this business, there are monsters now in the business, in this industry specifically. So building your
What do you mean by
portfolio.
monsters?
In terms of products, in terms of makeup artists, in terms of the competition that is happening.
You mean there's a lot of strong competition?
Yes.
Are you talking about like big brands? Are you talking about specific makeup artists who've really harnessed,
I'm talking more about
business?
big brands. there are a lot of good makeup artists. So, again, back to your question, is it harder now than earlier before? Yes, it is harder because of all these things. The competition is really so strong. You have a platform that could showcase your work, but also thousands of others. There's a good and bad thing about that. You're accessible, you're reachable to everyone. People will know about you more, but also you need to know how to stand out from the crowd and make yourself unique.
So how do you do that?
Me?
Yeah. I mean, now that Instagram is what it is, it's kind of like you said, you could be posting every day,
Yeah.
but unless your followers are really into makeup and engaging, they might never see your posts.
Exactly. I would tell you that I went in a period of time in this kind of struggle of what to post. Should I go with the flow of what's happening, what's trending?
Which is what's trending in makeup.
Not in makeup, if I would say.
Yeah.
On social media,
On social
what's
media.
trending now is kind of the most unnecessary post that you would ever post. Something that is super uneducational, just maybe funny or
You don't want to look
like
like you're selling something, or you don't want to be doing something that's too
if you monitor
perfect.
what's like really gaining a lot of interaction on social media now, you will see that the content is the most shallow content that you could ever watch.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I for a period of time I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Just to see if this is what will give me more interaction with my followers, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
And what I do now is that I'm 100% true in everything that I post. It reflects me 100%. I cannot be funny. I'm not funny. Usually, I'm not a funny person.
Okay.
I might throw a joke.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not an entertainer because if I might say, I might be funny, but I'm not an entertainer specifically. So, and I want it to be, because sometimes when you see and you're so into social media, you just want to ride the wave and say, all right, I'm going to do it. But it reaches
you want to be
a
authentic.
Point, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Well, you're not true to
everyone
yourself.
wants
You're not
that.
happy. I don't want actually just to gain attention. I'm not seeking that. I have something to offer. I'm more into the educational part of this industry, where I can help people make their career better or improve their skills, and that's all what I do.
So, but you also have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
How different is that? I mean, YouTube has gone through a lot lately, like in terms of advertising and all that. But it still feels like that's kind of where you'll find real content. How are you dealing with YouTube?
Let me tell you how I deal with social media and all its elements, like, clearly.
Yeah, because let's just say on YouTube, you do basically makeup tutorials, which are amazing. They're very well produced, by the way. I've seen them.
Thank you. So,
still not able to do anything what you do, but I'll keep watching.
Keep watching.
Yeah.
Keep watching. So let me tell you, I always tell the whole team this. We don't work for social media. We just showcase what we do on social media. So for me, this is a very simple way of dealing with things and knowing your target from any platform. So I do what I do. We really give it our best. We try as much as we can that our production is really on top of things. The concept, the lighting, the voiceover, what's being said, the consistency in posting, everything as it should be.
Yeah.
And then you just put it out there and keep doing what you're doing in terms of your business.
So, kind of like an exercise in being consistent and
exactly
true to your brands.
I've sat with a lot of YouTubers and bloggers and content creators, and you feel that their mindset is, I don't want to say limited, but they work for social media. So even if they want to eat they make sure that they just
Yes.
take a picture of what they're gonna eat.
I really don't know how
can't.
people can live like that. But you're right. That some
can't.
people's job is to be social media. That's their job.
And I don't want to live this life.
Yeah.
No.
But you've still harnessed it pretty well, which is interesting. And it's interesting. The timing is interesting because you're right. I don't think that doing what you do, it would be possible to do that today.
It wouldn't.
So, but let's talk a little bit about your products. So you ended up launching your own product line when?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Which, by the way, is your products are beautiful, and I love the packaging.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we launched, to be more accurate, in 2015. We started with the brand.
That's 4 years ago.
4 years ago. I'm so bad in math.
You are funny. Yeah.
I'm so bad.
No, it's
fine. With the brushes.
Yeah.
And I don't have the plan, to be very honest with you, to expand into a makeup line at that moment.
You didn't?
No.
So you traveled around the world?
We started the tour in 2014.
You were training other makeup artists?
Other makeup artists or any aspiring...
people who wanted to
anyone
makeup?
who's into makeup.
That was with Anastasia?
Anastasia was one of the stops that I had in LA, and we collaborated in LA for our masterclass together. But I've went all over New York, Australia, Canada, India,
so
everywhere.
You and your team planned those
Yes, we planned
sessions.
This. Yeah, it's a format basically that tours all around the world. Mm-hmm. So wherever...
A lot of makeup artists do that, right? Is this like a kind of a standard way for a makeup artist to kind of build his reputation?
There are a lot of classes that are happening. I wouldn't say they are world tours because until this day, I don't want to sound arrogant, but not yet another makeup artist have been to all the countries that I've had classes. And
really? So what are some of the interesting countries
I've been everywhere, like seriously. Sydney, Melbourne, India, Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico, Brazil, Romania,
amazing.
All the Arab countries without naming them.
You're still doing that, right?
We're still doing that. I'm traveling to India next week for a new class.
So how do you hook that up? I mean, you get in touch with a salon there or people, artists there? How do you?
The class is very well organized, and it's not an easy job.
How do you promote it, to get people to? I mean, they don't. You're the
just
celebrities, makeup artists.
A simple post on Instagram.
Yeah,
that's it.
Okay,
a simple post.
Because you have
on
followers
Instagram.
from all over the world.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah. So it's basically a format that we just have, and wherever you go, like any class or any destination, basically, you will basically have the same experience in each and every country.
And that's interesting, actually, because that means you've worked in all different types of cultures.
Yes.
Are there major differences in the way people kind of consume beauty and makeup around the world? And how would you describe the Middle East's relationship with the beauty industry and women and makeup here?
All right. There is not, I wouldn't say it's a different approach to makeup, but there is type of character that woman would like to show in herself depending on the region or the tradition that she comes from. So for example, in India, they are more into the vibrant colors and into defining their features because the tradition is all about vibrant colors. And so it resembles a lot with how they've been raised. Mm-hmm. But at the end, everyone would like to be beautiful, and everyone just wants to improve the outer look, which will directly affect also how she's feeling from the inside. So dealing with different cultures will make your imagination even more bigger and wider, and you'll have the ability to be even more creative when you see really a variety of cultures and how people interact with makeup. Now, as for the Middle East, again, it's the culture. So how you've been raised up, what are the stories that you've heard when you were young, so it all affects how you think beauty should.
Do women in the Middle East wear more makeup, say, than, I don't know, Europe or America?
Definitely. But it's also not only because she likes to wear a lot.
Yeah.
Again, her skin type, her skin color, the face features will eventually also affect how the amount of makeup that you're gonna wear.
But it's interesting, actually, because if you look at Middle East, sorry to interrupt, but if you look at Middle Eastern women, they have stronger features, bigger eyes, darker eyelashes, and yet they wear more makeup.
Yeah, because again, starting from skin, if we would say, skin is a very important factor in our region. We have thick skin usually, and more discoloration would show on our skin types than a very fair or light skin type. So again, you need to add a little bit more coverage. And as for the eyes and the amount of makeup that goes on the eye, and how we try to make our eyes bigger, our lashes longer, especially in the Middle East, that goes back to how we perceive beauty and what we've been raised on as beauty, and the references that we have in mind, like, you know, how strong is Layla, and the stories of the elder people and what they used to tell us, that she's so pretty and this is how she used to look like, and you know, you need to be very dramatic with your eyeliner, and black will make you charming, you know. And and in the Arab region, you know, sometimes I think they still do it until these days. They put the kahal in the newborn babies.
They do?
Yeah, they do, for men and for women. So for the female and for the male, because they consider that having strong black eyes and defined eyes are something very beautiful. So this is again a tradition,
and it's a long tradition. I mean, women have been doing that forever. Which is actually what I talked about in the introduction to this episode, how the beauty industry or makeup hasn't really changed all that much. It's not a product that's been revolutionized like, say, cars. You know, cars are like, I mean, from when they were invented to now, it's like, besides the fact they have 4 wheels, they've changed quite a bit. Makeup doesn't really evolve. Does it evolve? How much does it evolve?
I think.
Yeah, I mean, you know all the details.
It
so
evolves a lot now. Every day there's something new, like, and when I got into the factories and started working with factories and seeing how things are happening and going into fairs, every year there is a new item and new product, and the texture is becoming more improved, and something is more innovative. So I think it's evolving, but there is a kind of standard beauty, if I would say, concept in our head that needs to evolve faster than how it was.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at lipstick, I mean, okay, you have a liquid lipstick. And, I mean, there's only so many kinds of lipsticks you can make, right?
Yes, but you'd be surprised also
at the formulations.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess when you really think about it.
Innovative ways of how you can apply the lipstick on. Like, for example, now they created a printer, a laser printer that can directly apply the makeup on your face with a picture that you choose.
What?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
You see, so it is evolving.
Wow.
And,
who made that?
I think there's someone in Japan. You can research it. Again, Japanese are the best in technology, but they are doing...
It prints directly on your face?
It prints directly on your face.
Wow.
You can just choose the colors, the makeup style that you want, and it prints it directly.
Doesn't that make you worried, though, that then you won't need makeup artists anymore?
No, because I think until this becomes an easy access to everyone, I wouldn't be doing
worried?
makeup. I wouldn't be worried.
Okay,
no.
Good. I need to get my hands on one of those. Or you can come over. So your products are now, how many products do you have in your brand now?
All right. So the brand started by categories. The launches that the brand is considering is we always launch by category, and we started with skin category.
First, you had the brushes.
We had the brushes in 2015.
Okay.
And after that, the interaction and how people received it was so amazing. I really didn't expect that. And when we launched the brushes, everyone started saying, please complete the line. We want. So I felt that people really trust the name and trust everything that I'm doing. So I thought to myself, all right, so why not? Let's try to do something. And I don't come from a business background and definitely not a chemist. So I don't know anything about production in terms of business and in terms of formulating.
Yes.
So, for example, I would know if this is a good foundation or a bad foundation, but why, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know the composition.
Makes
so
sense.
it wasn't easy for me to go into the labs and starting to discover. And when I wanted to create my foundation, I had in mind the technical things that I wanted. Like I wanted my foundation to do this and that, but technically, and the composition of the formula was something very hard. And I had to go in depth working with the factory and the labs to learn what is basically the foundation all about and how adding or removing ingredients would really affect your final result. So it was a very long process, and this is how it all came together. So we started with the foundation, a makeup base, the concealer, and a setting powder as a first launch, because also I feel that whenever a brand gains the trust of the clients in skin, whatever that the brand will launch later on, it will be definitely a win situation because we've already gained your trust.
That's kind of the hardest part, right? Is the
Yes,
foundation.
it is the hardest part. So whenever you find your perfect foundation, it's very hard for you to switch to another brand.
Yeah.
So you just stick. It's like, like your toothpaste, for
Sure,
example.
sure.
If it's over, you're just gonna go buy the same thing again. So this is what I really wanted to focus on in starting the brand, is to build trust with
that's basically what you have now, right? It's the
Yes,
foundation, and
this is the first
that's your core,
category,
yeah?
the core, and then we launched 2 months ago our face palette, which is the bronzer, the highlighter, and the blushers. So we're continuing basically the skin category. Next month we launch our compact powders.
Amazing.
And yeah.
So how did you get into Sephora? When did you get in Sephora, and how did that happen?
All right, so we launched in Sephora 2 months ago.
Yeah, Sephora Middle East, of course.
Sephora, yeah, we're exclusive with Sephora Middle East for the next 3 years.
What do you mean? Does that mean you can't sell anywhere else?
We cannot sell anywhere else. It's only at Sephora.
In the Middle East?
In the Middle East and online.
And what about globally? Like what if Harrods in England, in the UK,
we
came
can,
to you?
We can.
Okay.
Legally we can.
Okay.
But I don't want to say that it's not on my mind right now, but we are an emerging brand, and for me it's very important to be aware of where you stand right now and where you want to reach in the future. For me, I'm building the assets of my brand. I'm building every step of the awareness and the sales, if I might say, and the turnover and the expansion and where we want to be. So I don't want to jump steps. For me, being in Sephora Middle East now is a major thing for the brand to expand, to raise awareness, and to build stronger assets. And then in the future, we do definitely have the plan of expanding in more POSs throughout the globe.
And you sell online as well?
We do sell online, yes, definitely.
Is that something that's easy, difficult? I mean, in the US, for example, and in Europe, I guess, but mostly I would say in America, everything is online now. But in the Middle East, it's still kind of lagging behind. Certain sectors are kind of building their online presence. Do you feel that it's something that's changing quickly? Is it a
in
good
the Arab region?
Yeah.
All right. So
how are you doing with your online sales?
We're performing really, really, really well. But funny enough, what you just said, our highest sales are in the US.
Oh.
So it makes a lot of sense of what you just said.
So people from the US are ordering your products from here and you're shipping
yes,
there?
Number 1 is US. I think number 2 is London and number 3 is UAE.
Okay.
I'm not like super accurate, but I
Yeah.
know that the USA is number one because since we launched our eShop until this day,
Yeah.
the US is always number one for us.
So how do you do the shipping? I mean, do you give free shipping? Do you charge for
we
shipping?
have $30 shipping if your order is less than $130.
And then it's free if it's 100 over
And if
130.
it's above
Anyways, we can check those details.
Yeah.
See, I'm telling you, you are funny. You
No,
should
but-
know that. No, I guess it's a detail, but
yeah, it is a detail that at some point in this everything that is on my shoulders, I try to
you can't
just
remember everything. I don't blame you. It's a lot to remember. But I think it's just an interesting question because I think in the US, again, everything is free shipping. So if a company in the Middle East wants to build an online presence, I mean, does that make a difference? That's the reason I was kind of
if
asking.
it's a free
I think
shipping.
it makes it
But
makes
I
it much more accessible.
for the price rate that we have for
Yeah.
the products. If you buy 2 or 3 products, you're already above $130.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have your
What is the price range of your products?
average.
I'm just not gonna. I'll do the talking. I'm not gonna ask you any more
Average.
questions. What are you wearing today? Something easier. You have. I can't imagine. I'm kidding, of course. I can't imagine the number of things that you're thinking about as a business owner. Not so. You still tell me what your average day is like. I mean, are you doing makeup and running the business? And what's your average day?
At the moment, I do everything. I still do makeup because it's my passion and I love it a lot. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to do it as often as I would love to, but I try as much as I can. So yeah, I'm the first to reach the office, last to leave, if I would like just tell you.
Yeah. So what time do you go in and leave?
I reach the office around 7:38 and I leave 7:38.
Wow, long days. And
Yeah.
when you say the office, that's the salon that you run.
And
there's an office within
there's
that space?
Yes, and there's the offices for the brand.
So how many-
they are basically
Yeah.
two separate entities.
Okay.
And we're actually closing the salon end of this month.
Okay.
Because we're switching into the corporate structure for the whole company, just to move into the brand and restructure the whole thing.
So you will no longer be running a salon?
Yes,
Wow,
exactly.
that's a big shift.
That's
It's
a
a
huge
change.
shift because the way that things are going and
Yeah.
the way that the business is evolving and the responsibility and the work that needs to be done in the brand is really on a very
A larger scale.
a larger
Yeah.
scale. And even the forecast, I don't want to say forecast, but what you expect from the brand to do is
Yeah.
really on a bigger scale of for the whole business.
Yeah.
So that's why we took the decision to switch into the corporate structure.
And how many employees do you have now?
At the moment, 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier, and where I met you was when you came to Qatar with
For the-
Fashion Trust Arabia.
yeah.
You were basically the main makeup artist, and I went to your suite where
Yeah,
you were doing
yeah,
makeup,
true.
and you had a lot of actually big personalities coming in and out. I
Yeah.
saw Nikki Hilton there.
Yes.
I'm sure you have a lot of names of people.
A lot. Karen Reutfeld, Cindy Bruna, a lot. I don't want to...
Yeah. It was
yeah.
quite an operation you were running
Maria
there.
Borges.
You had a
lot.
team of makeup artists,
Yeah,
and
we
all the basically the people involved, women obviously, had appointments to come and meet with your
Yes.
makeup artists, and they were
It's
so great and professional, by the way.
Thank
It's
you.
really impressive. But
Thank
so you're going to be part of Fashion Trust Arabia again next
Yes,
year.
so we were the official sponsors as the glam team for Fashion Trust Arabia last year.
Yeah.
Year 1 for them as well, and definitely we're already in the process of finalizing everything for year 2, because as I was telling you earlier, this year is a bigger year for Fashion Trust Arabia because they have a stronger pitching document now for year 2. So everyone is interested after the success that they did in year 1, and the whole media was talking about
That's great.
the event in Qatar. And,
Very exciting.
Yeah, very.
So what advice would you have for a wannabe makeup artist who has big dreams?
I have two advices, if I would say. The first one is make sure that you really want to be a makeup artist because you love it, not because it's a direct and fast way to fame and money. Because it is direct to fame and money, it is a fast way, but if you don't like it, you're gonna hate the way going there. So, and because I see a lot of people now, and I meet them sometimes on the street, and all what they say is they just love to become a makeup artist. Do you have the talent? No, but I just want to become a makeup artist because I think they see what's happening on social media and the celebrities and the photo shoots, and they think that life is pink for a makeup artist and everything is, oh, it's so happy and it's so nice and we just go for a photo shoot. It's not like this. It's really very hard. So if you don't love it, if you don't have passion, and if you don't have talent, give it a second thought.
Yeah.
Change your mind. You still have
Definitely.
time. And if you have the talent and if you have the passion, what would my advice be is to be true to yourself and never lose your passion. This is very, very, very important. And I personally believe that to be successful in a makeup artist's career, it's 20% of your talent and 80% of your hard work, persistent and determination, and really putting your heart and soul in what you do that will make you successful. Don't just rely on your talent because everyone is talented.
I think that's great advice for whatever industry someone chooses to
not
be
only
in.
as a makeup artist. Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing that and for
all.
coming in today and inspiring people who are
My
listening.
pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the show today. Do you have any questions about this show or ideas for another episode? You can share your comments on our page on hakawati.com. And don't forget to subscribe while you're there so we can let you know when there's a new episode. See you next time.